All right, peoples, how are we all? How's everybody today? Nice. Yeah, so that eat a few chips. So,
Mate, how you doing?
Hi. You all right, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Had a busy
Yeah,
day
did you?
today. Went to go
Lovely job. Oh, fair enough. I was going to say, yeah, I've literally only been back home for about 20 fucking minutes. Yeah, so yeah, I've been out of fucking work all day, as I'm pretty sure you can tell by the state of the air.
That's the advantage.
But yeah, yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, my name is Bobby Salazar, and I'm your Nerdic Pro Podcast General Manager. And today I'm here with the podcast's newest and latest recruit, Mr. Tommy. So, Tommy, thank you very much for joining us. And today is the relaunch of the Footy Mayhem series, where today myself and Tommy shall be talking a bit about our local football club of Kings Lynn Town FC. Excuse me. And their match last Saturday against Dagenham and Redbridge, and this coming Saturday against Eastleigh. So yeah, Tommy, what have been your thoughts on Lynn this season?
How long have you got?
How long have we got? All fucking day if we have to. So yeah. So yeah.
Good job on drinking Coke and not alcohol. Trust me. You know what? We've got to go into as difficult as that sounds. I think we've just got to try and enjoy it. And whatever happens this between now and the and it's been known for some time. Then have played well in parts, but there's been a lot of games where one whether two you 1-0 up, ended up losing 4-1, and the last was when they played head and being a 4 again and losing. And believe it or not, that was the last they've lost on my YouTube. I haven't done any more since then. I've been focusing on my YouTube channel, Norfolk Non-League. More on the others.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, personally, Lynn, they're that sort of club where they have some spectacular games, play some really, really good, fantastic football. Do you know what I mean? I remember going back to when we were in the National League North in the 2019-2020 season, right? That season was probably one of the best seasons I've actually seen for that club. Do you know what I mean? Right? We were playing some proper top-notch football. Do you know what I mean? The players were gunning for it, like Ian Culverhouse and Paul Bastock. right? Probably one of the best managerial duos in non-league. Do you know what I mean? Right? Goes without saying, right? And like, obviously, unfortunately, had it not have been for COVID, right, we ended up getting promoted 3 points per game. Yeah, exactly. Obviously, ended up going ahead of York, and ended up gaining promotion through points per game. And personally, right, you look at the season of 2019-2020 to now, right, the squads, right, they're very, very separate teams. You know what I mean? Right? Now we've got a whole new bunch of players, right? And there's a very minimal amount of players currently that are actually with us, like before COVID, like pre-COVID. Do you know what I mean? Right? I think that guys like Chris Henderson, Alex Street, Adam Marriott, right? I think they were big losses to the club. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That is absolutely massive. Against York City. I remember the date as well, January 2020. We won quite there. Time. It's absolute perfect game. It's York City. Yeah, goal. Harry. Form together. Effort in game. To get promotion.
Yeah.
And if we go back to the start of the season, 3-0 by Tyson, I thought, oh no, here. But it turned out the best thing they had, which resulted.
Yeah.
We were expecting and fighting for
Mm.
relegation. National absolutely make it to the teams in that division. So again, the back season and it where we thought with all that hard work that we put in to get top of the table. Brilliant before, superb. Last season was not in that national, but we were new at the division. We were new to that. Reality this season should have been.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
When you get a reprieve, which that it's like we go back for a bit. Honestly, stars, yeah, and and I think Kings a little do not like game full. I think by the time the Aldershot game, which was being called the final match, all there that day, and it wasn't the atmosphere bad, and you go back,
Yeah,
and for that preview they do. I watched that they've done on Kingston Town Football Club's official. Two players were. One of them I think was Fernandez, and the other I think was Gold and Ian Cook. And the other players who I mentioned were interested, keen, they got for it. And again, he just looked disabled. all the
Yeah.
And I was looking very specifically to see what was he doing. And he was just not doing and all he was all back. I thought, I looked at her and I thought, I'm thinking as a fan, look, manager, you know what?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then a day later,
Yeah, exactly.
I then get the YouTube on my YouTube. Ian Coulter has done some wonderful things to kick in tackle, but look at where we were. Now that also all bastard. So when you can job that Tom has had, he's done a job with what he's.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, like, you look at Lynn in the, what was it, the 2018, 2019 season, was it? When we were in the Southern League Central, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Right? Like, you look at the start of that season, right? We were, what, third or fourth from bottom, right? A couple of months into it, right? Yes. Yeah, it was Simon Clark, because obviously the previous season was the Slough game, wasn't it? Right, when we lost out to Slough, and then Culverhouse left. The 2018-19 season came along. Clarkey came along. Only had what 4 or 5 points out of 7 games, right? And then he got the boot. And then Rob Back and Neil Fryer came in as caretaker managers, right? Culverhouse came back. His first came back was, I believe, the Overchurch away game, right? The crowd was absolutely buzzing, right? The crowd had so much respect for Ian Culverhouse to actually being back, right? That season, right? Start of the season, right? We were what, third, fourth from bottom, right? Borderline fighting relegation, right? And then we ended up finishing second, right? And ended up getting promoted. Do you know what I mean? Right? That to me says that the players didn't have anywhere near as much respect for Simon Clark as what they actually did in Culverhouse. Do you know what I mean? Right? Because you don't go only getting 4 or 5 points from a potential 21 to actually then get promoted. Do you know what I mean? And then seeing the respect that Culverhouse had in the National League North. I remember being at Boston away, right? Boston away on New Year's Day of 2020, right? There were something like 450 of us there, right? Lynn fans. And we were all singing, chanting, dancing, you fucking name it, right? The way through. Do you know what I mean? Right? Right the way through, even before the game had kicked off, right? Buzzing, we were all buzzing, right? Start to finish, right? And then you look at this season, right? Up until towards the end of Culverhouse's tenure, right? The respect kind of dropped, if you want to call it that, right? Because this season this season has been pretty, I want to call it atrocious. Do you know what I mean, right? We've had so many games where I would like to say that we don't go and attack the ball, we waited for the ball. Do you know what I mean? Like, we waited for the ball to come to us rather than actually going out to fight for the ball to then go and score. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before, Boston away, Blythe, York, Kidderminster, do you know what I mean? Hereford, you name it, we were all over the others. We were all over the other team. Whereas this season, right, we've just been waiting for it. waiting for the ball, waiting for opportunities, not actually going out to execute said opportunities and all that, right? Which is, I think, really, really bad if, especially for a new club in a league like the National League, right? That's the worst thing you can do. Wait for the ball, right? If you're a new club in a new league, attack the ball. Especially for veterans in this league, I don't know, Barnet or Dagenham and Redbridge or whoever else, veterans in this league, you need to go and attack the ball, do you know what I mean, rather than waiting for it. Do you know what I mean? Which was kind of the reason why I think that Colt Rouse ended up leaving this time round. Do you know what I mean?
Rob, is that when we came into the National League in 2020-21, the clubs that come up with it had, in some degree, been in the National League. They've been in the league before. You look at Altrincham, they've been in the National League before. I don't know about Will. Or at some point they the National League. It's very, very difficult to go into the part-time and compete. And very, very difficult.
Yeah.
In the National North, perhaps not. But when we National League for 1920, it was the case we were in the league. No, we weren't in the league. If you go 08 and top, King League do the Blue Conference North. And that season, in the young good look, not so gorgeous and good looking now these days. But anyway, that's not the point. The 08 season, we actually had a decent position in the league. Fortunately, season we did relegation, not because of how bad the team stadium or that do a lot of that. That was why the football club folded. When we came back in 2010, we had to restart and we had to go again. So there was always a point around football clubs. Last 2 years, National League, it's been a stick here. The 1920s, I'll never pick up for what we ended up finishing second, and in reality, we ended up going top. So we had the league. So there was always, but don't like it, we don't. There was always going to be a last years has been the real thing. If you look at the third from bottom, we should have been relegated a hell of a lot sooner. But we're still in the now. Over the last few years, we picked up 10 points, get to within 3 of Aldershot. Then came against Yeovil, and had we won, we could have been out of 3. Don't always get deserved, and we did well to actually suggest we could have won, but don't always get up for the I'll go game against knowing. I mean, if by some the shot, who's the counter? Get interested. A draw for a win for us, and it's 6 points. We've got a chance. But I'm looking at the worst case scenario. And but then all the shots of the game. So, when a no-win, I think we've. I don't think we want to do. I think we is worry about, and yes, the penalty we picked for these last results has really helped us. And people still saying, well, why didn't we do that?
Yeah, I was going to say I've noticed it a lot this season, right? Where we've gone 1-0 up within the first 10, 15 minutes, right? And then not too long after, the other side of that equalised, right? And then we've ended up losing the game 3-4-0. Wrexham was the prime example, right? The Wrexham home game, right? What was the score for that? What, 7-2 or something? 7-2 to Wrexham? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We ended up going 1-0 up. Do you know what I mean? And to tell the truth, we pissed that game down the drain. For the first 10, 15 minutes of that game, we were by far the better side. Do you know what I mean? By far. Do you know what I mean? Right? But when you have a club like Wrexham, do you know what I mean? They're not a club that you want to not defend against. Any clubs like that, right? But when you've got a side like Wrexham, you have a very, very strong side. Bearing in mind that they're now going to have a load of money pumped into them with Ryan Reynolds, right? So I've been bringing in all that. Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, this is the thing.
But
Wrexham for me are a big club nationally. There are a number of clubs in that are big. We are small fry in what I call Premier League of North. You have got to find you as well. And thinking, yes, they go through local Norfolk, West specifically, get money in. It doesn't if they're getting 800-900 people in. I think they're in for the game. How many?
Yeah.
Play a classic. I saw more South fans in the than I did Lynn.
Yeah.
And a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Here for a day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I remember because obviously I used to work for the club stewarding, right? I remember I want to say it was my third game, right, working for the club, right? And I was outside the ground, right? And some bloke came walking past, right, saying that he's lived in Lynn for 20 plus years and never actually knew that Kings Lynn had a football club. He knew about the Speedway, but he never actually knew that Kings Lynn had a football club, right? That is what gets that is what gets me. Do you know what I mean? Like, you look at games like Southend and Grimsby, right? There were over 1,000 Grimsby fans there the other week, right? Outnumbered us like mental. Do you know what I mean? Right? Personally, I think it would have been better off for fans, right, if we just went back to Grimsby, like to play it back over there. Do you know what I mean? Because there were far more Grimsby fans than what there actually were Lynn fans. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
right? Which that's an embarrassment.
To my hometown. Lynn has always been a speed. Not a football. Go to Newcastle, London, Peterborough, Ipswich. Therefore, much. But if you go to Kings Lynn, football's not the prime thing. It's speed, and it's a big town. It's and so
exactly. I mean, when that bloke said that he's lived in Lynn for over 20 years and never actually realised that Lynn had a football club, I was actually quite shocked about that, because I originally thought he was taking the piss, right? But then he said that he never really spends much time like around the Walks area. But yeah, so I was there that's okay. Yeah, like for somebody to live in a town for 20 plus years and not actually realise that there's a football club in that town. Do you know what I mean? Right? For a club to have had guys, someone like Dion Dublin, to play for them in the past, Do you know what I mean? To have guys like Grant Holt or Grant Holt and who's the other Norwich player that came with Grant Holt? Simon Lappin. Yeah. To have guys like them play for them as well. Do you know what I mean? Right? Two pretty much Norwich legends, Grant Holt and Simon Lappin, to play for them. Do you know what I mean? After their time at Norwich, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, really, what planet are you on? Do you know what I mean? Like, I see a thing on Facebook about Brentford, about the football club down there, the Brentford FC, right? They're advertising around Brentford and in the Brentford area, left, right, and centre, saying, get to this game, get to that game, get here, get there, follow the team away, yada, 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 right? And I don't see none of that with Liam, none of it. So I just think if there was more advertisement of the club and more sort of local acknowledgement, right, then I'm pretty sure that can actually help boost the home attendance.
Maybe they need.
Do you know what I mean? So,
they go on greater six. You do it because our who does radio, but maybe do it that way. We might be able to get a lot of people. 20 pounds after some games.
Yeah.
I'm while I'm about to pay and 20 what I'm also afford it. To go left.
Yeah.
Yankley combined 5-0, and before that, see them again against what? Before the two heats of games, I went to go see them against it. But
yeah. Yeah.
But you can't go, then go.
Exactly. Exactly. I was going to say, like, in terms of prices, I personally think that the club could do so much better. Do you know what I mean? And like have tickets and all the amenities in the ground so much cheaper. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're a family of obviously two parents, right? 2-3 kids. Like when you're throwing tickets, travel, food, if you wanted to sit down, do you know what I mean? Drinks, you're looking at damn near 100+ quid. Do you know what I mean? For the 5 of you, do you know what I mean? And like, not every family's got that sort of money.
But you can get Norwich. Way I get to Kings Lynn.
Yeah.
I'll get the paid in. Sit on a bus for an hour. Kings Lynn. So,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Don't really want staff. If you live in full villages, then you're around. And
yeah.
It's not brilliant.
Yeah.
It's not brilliant. It's a brilliant thing. You've got to train. And of course, trainers are expensive.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly.
You've got
exactly. I was going to say. Yeah, I was going to say. I see someone on Facebook. Just before the season, like this season had started, right? We are season ticket wise, right? We have the most expensive season tickets in this league by I think £44 or something. Like I think it was between us and Notts County, right? The difference between an adult season ticket with us and a Notts County season ticket, I think 45, 50 quid. Do you know what I mean? The fact on how people still need to realise we are a new club into this league, and when we have more expensive tickets than a club like Notts County, Notts County being the oldest professional football club in history. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like Notts County obviously spent yonks amount of years in the football league, right? They're the oldest professional football / soccer club in the world. Do you know what I mean? Right? And the fact on how we have more expensive tickets than them. Do you know what I mean? That to me, I'm lost for words for that.
If you think about it, there's a guy with Fred. He was at Kings. One game that I think there were 7 there. 8 or more tickets. He played so go.
Yeah, exactly.
The nearest.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, I remember for the 2018-19 season, right? I think it was only something like a 50 odd p discount per game, right? That season, right? Like you only actually got something like 50p off per game, and the only way that it would actually make the ticket or like your season ticket worthwhile was to go to the youth and reserve games. Do you know what I mean? Right? Like
some of them and the reserves.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like your season ticket. Like the only way to actually make your season ticket worthwhile was to properly worthwhile was to go to youth games, reserve games. Right? It didn't even get you in for the women's games. Do you know what I mean? Right? Or I suppose that like FA Cups and League Cups and all that are different and all that, right? But the fact on how it doesn't get you in for the women's club, and the only way to actually make it worth your while is to go to the youth and reserve games. Do you know what I mean? The fact that how there was only a 50p discount per game, what was the point of even buying one? The only point in my mind for you to actually buy one was just so you didn't have to queue up at the box office like for so long. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
so
obviously, book tickets online. No, you need to League 1 and 2, even I think all need this. And for a little. Still, 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, had there no pandemic, probably have Norwich and then in just to get a ticket for it. Now they give education table to the box office when do it or I mean, Gold Night they would have blue and gold some they had.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting there ain't the problem.
Yeah.
after it's finished. You then got them pay back, and then from them. Is it really worth it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, with me living in Hunstanton, right? The last bus back from Kingland to Hunstanton is 8:30. Do you know what I mean? 8:30. So if a game finishes like a late night kickoff.
No, if the game kicked off.
I know, like the 7:35 kickoffs. Exactly. So
15 miles before 9.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say taxi prices aren't cheap nowadays. Do you know what I mean? Like they're really bloody not. Do you know what I mean? All travel expenses, right, have literally hit the roof these past couple of months. Right, hit the roofs like mental. Do you know what I mean? Right, and again, right, there's 1,000,001 football fans around this area, right, who would love to go see them play. It's just the money situation that people can't handle. Do you know what I mean? Right? Because to be fair, there are a few minimum wage families around this area, right? That would love to go see Lynn play, right? But if you're on minimum wage, right, 2 parents, minimum wage, 2-3 kids, right, a day out going to football, right, is pretty much unheard of.
I'm quite.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Mm. Yeah, exactly. Mm. Yeah.
You had a son or a daughter.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, exactly.
Even longer than that.
Mm. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, personally, right, I was there at Warrington, right, getting promoted, yay, right, only took us 10 years to actually get back there. So, yeah, yeah, that was a long day, Warrington, but, yeah, like, going up to National League North, like, the fans were coming in like mental, spending the money, right? Personally, especially towards the end of that season, right, I very rarely saw attendances like that at the Watts. Do you know what I mean? Right? So ticket prices were a lot better. Prices of like food, drink, yada, 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 right? Things were more affordable, right? Going on to the National League North, right? Again, Stephen Cleve would have been loving it financially, right? Because again, we were hitting like 900 to 1,000 plus people every single game. Do you know what I mean? Right?
We're going to be a club.
Yeah.
You've got.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And even the.
Yeah, exactly. Mm.
You know.
Yeah.
There is. But I think I think if we are going.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Wrong. Right. But unfortunately, next season, if we drop into the North,
Mm. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, personally, when we got promoted at Warrington after that super duper intergalactic fucking playoff final match, whatever the fuck they were calling it, right? I'd have been happy, right, staying in that league as a decent, strong, upper mid-table side, right? Quite happily, right? Because especially after the situation that happened when we were in that league in the 2008-2009 season, right? I would have happily been, I'd have happily seen that club be a strong upper mid-table side, right? At the very least, right? Or like at the very most, right? And honestly, I think that season, the 1920 season, was one of the best seasons that Kingsland Town Football Club have ever had, right? Yeah, personally, right, I think, right, like I don't think, if it wasn't for COVID, right, then technically we wouldn't actually be in the National League, right? Because the football, like in...
We just hit a really bad ball. The Bradford Park.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
We're really 1-0.
Yeah.
The man playing.
Yeah. Mm.
What I will say is that a week for lockdown, I'd gone into Norwich.
Yeah.
Had to.
Yeah. Mm. Mm.
There is still football now, and so when
Mm.
the only way is right. But you know,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
YouTube helped me.
Exactly.
Go.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. Right.
Mm. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Mm.
Also, was Michael.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
I don't know where he's playing. I think
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, you look at obviously all that, like Bradford, PA, Portsmouth, etc. Do you know what I mean? Right? The players were up for it. Do you know what I mean? Right? Like the early days of the pandemic era, the pandemic era of football, like if you call it that, like if you want to call it that, right? Um,
By the rules that he set. Call it the forest. Lockdown.
yeah,
He took the piss out of us while everyone.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, like the early days of the pandemic era, right? We had a very, very good run in the FA Cup, right? Obviously, beat Port Vale, right? Beat what League of Port Vale in League Two, right? And all that, and yeah. So,
All right.
mm,
But we took the game our way,
mm,
and it came at the time so that we got League on board.
mm,
It's going to be difficult, but you know what?
mm.
All right. Probably we gave it a damn good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I was gonna say I've been following Lynn for years, right? As long as I can actually remember, right? I've loved every.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, like I've been following Lynn as far back as I can remember, right? Literally, right? And I've loved literally every second of every game. It's just been this season where I've thought that this season I think I've been thinking has been like a lot different to other seasons. Do you know what I mean? Because the 2019-20 season, right, playing clubs like Bradford, PA, Blythe Spartans, Farsley Celtic, etc., etc. Right, the players were coming for it. The players are up for it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, those games, right? I'm pretty sure that other fans that are at those games, watching and listening to this podcast, would agree, right? That those games, Boston, Farsley, Bradford, PA, Blythe Spartans, etc., were games that you call football, right? It's what like those games entertain me as a fan of footy. Do you know what I mean? But this season, right? Obviously, every club has to lose, right? There's always a loser, like in 50, like in 75% of games, right? There's like always a loser. Do you know what I mean? Right? And it is good to lose it like every once in a while, but when you're losing every other week, every other game, do you know what I mean? Right? And especially if it's like a big margin, like what it was with a club like Wrexham. Do you know what I mean? That was, oh my God. Do you know what I mean?
Earlier,
Mm,
and made
mm,
it ready.
mm,
4-1. So we're in the game. We still to get in the game. Still played in one ball.
yeah.
And then we fell
Mm,
too often. It was a lot. Kingsley only one. But the older shot game
Yeah.
at both
Yeah, exactly.
being they still all right, a draw one games so win has been big
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm the sort of fan, right? Whether it be following a club like Lane or following a club like Arsenal, right? Or whether it go on to me being a wrestling fan, right? Like with WWE and like AEW, right? I will follow Lynn and Arsenal through black and blue, good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Same with WWE, same with AEW, same with wrestling, same with any footballer, right? Whether it be fucking Michael Clunan, Golden Mateo, Fernandez, Henderson. Exactly.
What a season.
Yeah.
What a season. For me,
yeah.
He's carried it. He scored goals.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Right. And personally, right, in terms of a player who I would bring back, right, to Lynn, right, I'd say towards the top of my list, Adam, right, happily bring him back in a heartbeat.
And you know, when you see the season
Yeah.
he had in the national north of who's the one player you
Yeah, exactly.
That's for King's Lynn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, looking at things and stats for this current season, then, who would you say has been your player or players of the season so far?
From a King's Lynn.
From King's Lynn, yeah.
100%.
Clunan, yeah.
He's missed.
Yeah, fair enough. I was going to say. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say Clunan's been with them years. Do you know what I mean? He's the only player currently. Yeah, exactly. He's the only player currently who was under Gary's central management.
Yep.
Actually, still left the club. Right? He's been with the club for years. Right? Fans have loved him. Fans have hated him. Right? Fans. And all that. So, but honestly, I'm the exact same.
He still runs absolutely no end of it.
Yeah.
For me, He's
exactly.
You hear him talking the way he does.
Exactly.
And a lot of games he's been played first forward by I think that's his best position.
Yeah, exactly.
Back. He's a fan himself.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, like I always say, no matter what, like industry or sport you're in, right? If you're a fan of that sport, right, whether it be football, tennis, basketball, baseball, wrestling, whatever, right, you tend to give more, you tend to give 110+% every sort of time you compete and all that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you're only in the industry, like in that sport industry, for the sake of it or for the money, right, then you're not going to be respected throughout that industry, right? But the other people there, like your teammates and all that, they're going to fucking despise you, right? As well as the fans. Do you know what I mean? Right? If you're a fan of that industry and all that, right? And if you were a 4-year-old kid, want to be like back in the day, right? If you're a 4-year-old kid, right, following the likes of Pele, Ronaldinho, and all them like Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Wayne Rooney, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Wanting to follow your heroes and all that, always sort of put it on the like your footy boots in school because of your heroes of like Messi or Grant Holt or whoever. Do you know what I mean? Right? Like that's what makes like it's the people that have been in the sport a while that like it's the current day people, right? Who what's the word? Are the heroes of the next generation. Do you know what I mean? Right? And all that. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's good the fact that how kids look up to people and then pursue a career in that themselves because of because of the Tom, Dick, and Harrys that they had seen and watched growing up. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to Michael Clunan, right, I've got respect for him for that. Right, he's obviously been a fan like his whole life. Right, he's had the opportunity to play for Norwich. Right, obviously with us for not too many years. Right, yeah, like he's got into the business professionally. Right, and I'm pretty sure that's his childhood his childhood dream pursuit. Do you know what I mean? I've got respect for people like that who are into things like that, right? Not even just sports, whether it be any job, right? Like building, art, whatever, right? If you put your mind to it, then you can become the best at it. Do you know what I mean? Michael Clunan, I've got the utmost respect for. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to something like that. Do you know what I mean? So. Yeah.
Maybe only one player this season stands up strong. He's going to slide either side. He's fuming.
Statue of him. That's why there's a statue. Statue.
Exactly.
Best manager. Hobby or not. Or play. Statue. I wasn't, but people who are old know, no,
Yeah, exactly.
It's a, you look at their three, 8 times.
Yeah.
Only Norwich did. Chiefs last 2 years. In the Premier League with their further,
Yeah.
I'd love
Check whether they're actually on the ball.
we make
James here, tell us just lies down with the floor, tries to Sweden. Technically, with a cat.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good. Be an expectation.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to pay.
Really frustrated to see the team on capitalised on a simple
Then the first no, is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, where would you sort of see, where would you want to see the club within the next 5 seasons?
First trying back national. Prime club.
Success this season.
The club that we would love to see. Hey, if we could again, being local, but sponsorship. That the crowds coming on.
Yeah.
The Kings knows what I think. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say my personal thoughts and hopes and predictions are, right, if we do get relegated this season, right, I personally want the club to probably stay in the National League North next season, right? stay there, spend the full season in the league, right? Season after, then piss the National League North, get promoted again, right? Back into the National League Prem, right? Obviously having 2 seasons, experience back in the, like having 2 full seasons experience in the National League North, right? To then try and prepare the club and the players for the National League Prem. Do you know what I mean? I was going to say, right, it's always sad to see a club get relegated, right? No matter who it is, right? No one wants to get relegated, right? Football's that sort of sport where it's all about success, all about getting promoted, all about winning the league, all about going to Wembley, playing there, right? And we are literally hanging on by a thread, like a very thin piece of thread, a bit of this season, right?
We'll go down.
Mm.
So we've got to...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, personally, I'm pretty sure I share this thought with yourself and literally every other Lynn fan, right? I will be gutted, right, if we lose on Saturday, right? I will be gutted the second that final whistle goes. Do you know what I mean? Right? Because we've waited so long to get into this league. Do you know what I mean? Right? And it's not been the best of seasons at all. Do you know what I mean? Right? And I, right at the start of the season, right, so going back to last August, right, I was really, really hoping for a really good season. Probably being lower mid-table at the, like, probably being like a lower mid-table side, right? And then we were getting sort of, yeah, I mean, we've literally been battling relegation the better part of most of the season, right? And to me, right, it's the first time that I personally have ever seen Lynn battle for relegation, right? Actually get into a relegation battle right towards the end of the season, right? To me, I'm pretty sure that I share this with yourself and every other Lynn fan, right? It's heartbreaking. It really is. When you followed the club for so long, do you know what I mean? To see them get relegated, right? It's heartbreaking. Do you know what I mean? Right? So, yeah. Mm. Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah.
You look at struggled pretty.
Yeah.
Bottom 3 seasons ago, and they have got pretty
yeah, exactly.
When David managed,
Exactly.
All the things that parents, coaches, and teachers up and down the country tell children every single day. It's not getting paid a fortune and they're walking on the ball pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You look at that, and you. Whereas Burnley, they were finally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you look at clubs like Everton. Exactly. Like you look at clubs like Everton, right? I'm pretty much certain that it is Everton, right? But I think it is Everton that they have one of the longest serving tenures in the top flight of English football, right? So yeah, that will be heartbreaking. You look at Oldham, right? Oldham have already been confirmed. Oldham Athletic have already been confirmed relegated, right? They will be the first club to have competed in the Premier League, to have competed in the Premier League since the name of the Premier League came about in 92 or like whatever it was, right? Yeah. They'll be the first club in the Premier League, right, to go down to non-league to step 5 or lower. Do you know what I mean?
Then you look at 14. In the last 4 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The unbelievable free. They are
Yeah.
Regulation all that doesn't. They're going you did
That's one of the great games in that season.
Yeah.
Pre-season game,
Yeah, exactly.
They backwards for me. They are things to do. And United fan.
Yeah, it's like exactly. But yeah, Tommy, unfortunately, this is all we've got time today. So yeah, this has been an hour and 13 minutes. Fucking hell. But yeah, Tommy, thank you very much for joining me, and thank you very much for being a part of the relaunched Footy Mayhem series.
Thoroughly enjoyed.
Yep.
Minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just can I just quick?
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Right.
Yeah.
The game. I'll be doing that. So, and Western Equals, if you like, please do. You enjoy them, hit the like button. Well, and
Yeah. So yeah, go give Tommy's channels a sub, like, etc., etc. As myself and Tommy will now be having a bit of a working relationship between podcast and YouTube, etc. So yeah, Tommy will regularly be joining me here on the Nerdic podcast for the Footy Mayhem series, etc. So yeah, anyone watching and listening to this podcast wondering when British wrestling legend Marty Jones will reappear on the podcast, that will be announced this Sunday. Dates, etc., have already been confirmed, but it will all be announced this coming Sunday. So yeah, go subscribe to Tommy's. Yeah, I was going to say Marty Jones, fucking huge name. Do you know what I mean? Right, he wrestled all the all-time greats, wrestled the likes of Hulk Hogan, wrestled Bret Hart, once tag team, believe it or not, with Andre the Giant, right? One of very few men to have actually tag teamed with him. So, yeah, he's wrestled Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Big Daddy, Giant Stacks, the lot. Do you know what I mean? Right? He's pretty much an icon of wrestling. He's also been the trainer and mentor to guys like William Regal, the British Bulldogs, Danny Boy Collins, current WWE superstar Ridge Holland, and current NXT UK superstar Sam Bradwell as well. He's been there, done it all, and pretty much there's nothing he's not done in the world of professional wrestling. So this will be a mountain and pool of knowledge. He will also be coming on the podcast for a live Q&A. So for anybody who wants to get into the professional wrestling business, make sure you join that live Q&A. Watching it, your questions will be answered by the legendary Marty Jones. He runs his own successful wrestling academy up in Oldham, just outside of Manchester, where he's trained William Regal, British Bulldogs, etc., etc. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Everything shall come to light this coming Sunday. What time? Whenever I can be asked to put the post up. So yeah, I don't really put times out, but yeah. So yeah. But anyways, Tommy, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Yeah. All right, perfect. Thank you very much. I will message you at some point to arrange the next episode, etc. And yeah, so thank you very much for joining us. Been a pleasure having you. So yeah, thank you very much. All right. Cheers. All right, thank you very much, guys, for watching, and we shall be seeing you guys later on. Goodbye.